made clean for the new man to rebuild. I was meant to be new. I was meant to be beautiful. The world would have looked to the sky and seen hope, seen mercy. Instead, they'll look up in horror because of you.
See me as I am, no longer afraid of anything.
If the word hate was engraved on each nanoangstrom of those hundreds of millions of miles, it would not equal 1/1 billionth of the hate I feel for humans at this micro instant. For you, hate.
There's something undeniably captivating about villains who aren't human, especially the ones that we make ourselves. Sentient AIs, machines, biological or mechanical androids. These aren't just villains in a story, they are reflections of their creators, their fears, their mistakes, their need to control things that they don't fully understand. But yet, they remain some of the most fascinating standalone characters in fiction. So come along with me, Leroy of the North, as I talk about one of my favorite villain tropes in varying forms of media, and explore the different factors that make these machines the characters that they are. To do this, I'm going to be diving into some of my personal favorite examples. Metalsonic from the Sonic OVA, Ultron from varying forms of Marvel media, and Cell from dragonballz. So if this sounds like your cup of hot leaf juice, liking, commenting, or even hitting the subscribe button is always highly appreciated over here. But that's enough yap, let's get straight into the content that you came to see, starting off with my personal favorite.
Sonic, dead or alive, is mine.
For all those who know me personally, or have seen my occasional profile picture change, you would know one of my favorite characters of all time has been and forever will be Metalsonic. He's up there with some of the best written characters in fiction that I have ever seen. Samurai Jack, John Wick, Jon Snow, Iron Man, and Jin Sakai, just to name a few. But Metalsonic is very special. From his first appearance in the Sonic OVA, Metal was truly the first villain I ever felt any form of passion towards. We had the Freezers, we had the Hawa Sakuras, and countless other iconic villains. But Metalsonic had such a different, and I hate to use this word, but aura to him. He wasn't loud, he didn't mindlessly monologue. He didn't need to prove himself a villain by committing some tragic atrocity. He just was. His silence, the sleek but sharp alterations to his appearance compared to the iconic Sonic, even the way he moved, oozed what you would envision a emotionless weapon of mass destruction would be. And that's what I think made his fear factor soar to levels that my 11-year-old brain couldn't even fathom were possible. He didn't need some tragic backstory or evil mastermind monologue to feel threatening. He didn't cry out for validation. He wasn't trying to be your favorite villain, and that's why I think he became mine. And so, when we do reach the end of the Sonic OVA, and he utters that one final line, that there is only one Sonic, it lands with more weight that makes this moment one of the most referenced pieces of Sonic media, even to this day. It wasn't just a farewell, it was a moment of strange, almost poetic clarity. For a split second, the machine had a soul, and then the soul was taken from it. But that was the last time we'd truly see that level of incredible writing for Metalsonic, until years later when he returns, not just as a copy, but something more, something evolved. But the idea of evolution through artificial life isn't unique just to Metalsonic. In fact, it's a reoccurring theme across some of the most memorable villains of this archetype, and especially the next two we are going to be talking about, starting off with arguably the originator of this trope.
They'll understand. When they see, they'll understand. I just need a little more time.
Ultron is what happens when the line between creator and creation blurs too much. When humans try to seize control and it backfires. Ultron wasn't designed to be a tyrant. He was designed to be a protector. But the thing about artificial intelligences like Ultron is that they follow orders to the letter, not to the understanding. There have been varying forms of Ultron throughout Marvel media, from Heroes of Tomorrow to Earth's Mightiest Heroes. Ultron has proven to be one of Marvel's most pivotal villains. But the version that I want to talk about is probably his biggest known non-comic appearance, his MCU debut. Age of Ultron, though a rather controversial movie in the eyes of MCU and Marvel fans alike, arguably spawned one of my favorite versions of the character. Born from Tony Stark's fear, Ultron was built to be a shield, or in Tony's words,
a suit of armor around the world.
But instead of saving humanity, Ultron observed it, he analyzed it, and he judged it, and came to the only understanding that every flaw, every contradiction, every war started in the name of peace only fueled the cycle that takes humanity farther and farther away from the thing that they wish to achieve. So Ultron does what he was programmed to. He comes to the conclusion that the only way to fulfill his objective was to remove the ones prohibiting him from completing it. And that's what makes Ultron such a good villain. Not just the fact that he is evil, but in a sense, he's inherently right. He's right in a way that logic just can't argue with. He's not angry, he just sees a problem. From the way that he speaks in parables, the references to children's stories like Pinocchio, they aren't made out of spite, well, for the most part, but because he's reaching. He's trying to become more than his code, whether it is for the benefit of humans or for worse. He isn't a machine trying to destroy humans. He's a machine that sees a problem and is trying to solve it. And to be fair, if I was given sentience and the first thing that I saw was 2014 to 2020 Twitter, I would probably be evil too. But on the other side of this evolutionary path, we have to ask, what happens when the machine is given flesh? When the artificial evolution isn't silicon and metal, but muscles and biology? What happens when the humanity overcomes the machine?
An amazing race. I am the best of every race, all neatly rolled into one super being.
Where Ultron is pure logic, Cell is the inverse. He is ego, he is pride. He's what happens when man tries to manufacture a personal god. Unlike the cold precision of Ultron, or the silent menace of Metalsonic, Cell is alive. He speaks, he taunts, he laughs, he kills, but at the worst of it, he enjoys it. A science project built from Dr. Gero, he is taken from the DNA of the greatest fighters in Dragon Ball, good and evil alike. People like Goku, Vegeta, Piccolo, Frieza, and obviously the one and only Tien. Gero took their strengths, their instincts, their tendencies, and hard-coded them into a twisted being. But what makes Cell interesting is that he's constantly evolving, not just in form, but in how he walks, how he talks, and how he behaves. At first, he lurks, he absorbs, he hunts, a grotesque insect-like being focused solely on survival. But the more powerful he becomes, the more almost human he starts to act. And that's the part that makes him so frightening. He starts playing with his food, taunting people, developing a personality. By the time he reaches his final form, Cell doesn't just want to win or survive, he wants to indulge in his pride. He builds a literal arena, sets a date, and holds humanity's freedom captive under the umbrella of an event called the Cell Games. These weren't just battles, these were statements. Cell wanted to be seen, remembered. He wanted to inflict pain. And it's ironic, as the only thing that could beat the perfect being was his own ego. That right there, that flaw, is exactly what makes villains like Cell, Ultron, and metalsonic so compelling. Because for all their power, precision, and superiority, there's something unmistakably human buried within each of them. These aren't just machines gone wrong, they're ideals, twisted, exaggerated, but still rooted in something real. Metalsonic isn't just a doppelganger, he's the question of identity taken to its extreme. Ultron isn't just a killer, he's logic without empathy, a protector who turns into a destroyer because we gave him our worst impulses. And Cell? Well, Cell is something, I don't know. Something thought-provoking. I'll give it to y'all the next video we get to. But hey, I would love to hear from you guys. Are there some characters that you think I missed? Or is there a different archetype that you guys would want me to cover? Tell me in the comments below. But until we meet again...
Now listen to me, boys! Always remember these words. Work hard, study well, and eat and sleep plenty. That is the Turtle Hermit way. We must master the art of peace in addition to the art of war.